Welcome. 239 Uncensored, everything Southwest Florida and beyond. And we have a great guest on the podcast today. We have one of my really, really good friends, Brandon Cardin. Brandon, what do you think about coming in the studio today?
Oh my God, man, it's great. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful place.
Do you
And I just want to say, I thought John Scaduto was your favorite person in the world, but I guess I am now.
John Scaduto. Hey, I will tell you that anybody who is in my studio is my favorite person. That makes me kind of like Two-Face, right?
That's okay.
Yeah, we got Nerf guns here today, so we're gonna have. If somebody says something really wild, we're gonna go at each other with Nerf guns. Now, I want to just break it down a little bit. Brandon's been on the podcast before, but I think that was just an audio podcast, right?
Yes.
So Brandon, for those of you who don't know, Brandon's a great friend of mine. We've known each other for a long time. He was a student. I don't want to say a student of mine, but he was a student at Lely. I knew him real well. He was part of the Explorer program when I was working at the sheriff's office. We become pretty good friends from way back then. And then currently we try to get together on a regular basis as much as we can, at least every month or two, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I'll go grab Brandon. We'll go out, and we end up at all kinds of places. We end up at Hooters, Twin Peaks.
We get so much trouble. It's not even...
Yeah, Cosmos Pizza. And, Brandon is very, very pro law enforcement. He actually works in law enforcement. We'll keep that kind of on the check. And then he does go to school. Actually you're going to
Florida Southwestern State College.
Yeah,
right
Florida.
Now. And then I'm gonna probably go to FGCU and get my bachelor's degree in criminal justice.
Very good. So he's very well schooled in this stuff, and he's a big fan, I think, of the show. I don't know if you're a fan, but you're a listener.
I'm a listener, and there are some times when I want to chime in and go, "What the heck, man?"
And we do have some cool things in common because Brandon's got family up in Maine. I have family in Maine. We're in this law enforcement thing together. We've been doing it a while. And Brandon, anything else to add to our friendship?
Anything else to add to our friendship? I have a lot to add. I don't know about you. I think, knowing you and I know I can count on you to come over and just pick me up and take me places if I need you there, just having that along with a lot of other people, but you being one of my friends, and you can just come over and pick me up and we go out.
Yeah, and I think it's important. Brandon, for those who don't know, Brandon's got cerebral palsy, right? Mm-hmm. And he does not let I get the best tickle out of it because he does not let any of that crap bring him down. He does not let any of that bring him down. He gives me a lot of strength. So
especially when I was in the Explorer program, I give 110% in anything I do.
Yeah, you do. More so. Mm-hmm. And we have some really good stories about Brandon when he was in the Explorer program. I can't really divulge all of them, but I think I might have on the podcast before. One time we had Brandon, he was helping out. Are we allowed to say there's a statute of limitations over?
Hey, you're the guilty party, bro. Whatever you feel.
So Brandon, one time we had him out keeping an eye at the fair. He was doing security on the back gate, right? So he was out there keeping an eye, making sure nobody came into the fair for free, I guess, essentially, or people had a pass.
Tim would try.
Yeah, jump the fence.
Let me in.
Yeah, Brandon's gonna chase him down and take him out, right? So we kind of left Brandon out there for an extended period of time with limited water and food. So Brandon comes back and his face is about as red as the shirt he's wearing right now, the 239 Uncensored shirt. So we bring him back and he's got a sunburn from hell. You didn't tell anybody, right? Because we didn't want to, go to.
I haven't told anybody yet. But I think the cat's out of the bag now.
DCF, please don't come after us.
I think the cat's out of the bag now.
Yeah, I think we got it.
So.
But no, how did the Explorer program when you were younger? How did that impact you, Brandon? How was it a positive?
Or
a negative?
Oh, it was all positive. My mom was really worried about me. Not so much worried about me, just wondering how somebody like me in high school was going to find a social group per se, because I was in special education all of my educational career. So she's like, how is he going to cope with high school and these new, all the things that come with high school. So a friend of the family had mentioned that her brother had been in the Explore program way back in the day when it first started. And so she called, our friend called the sheriff's department, and she got hooked up with the Explore program. And that's how it all began. In 1992, I started, and I didn't leave until 98.
Unbelievable. Now, who do you remember? Who your Explorer advisors were at the time?
Explorer advisor was Jim Mansberger. Who is now, I found out, supposedly the head of security out at Seminole Indian Reservation for the, I guess, casinos and everything.
Okay, yeah.
So
he's still in it.
Yeah,
he's been around for a long time.
He's still in it. We used to call it. I don't think he'd mind me saying this. We used to call him the big fat man.
Jim was old when I started.
He's
not really.
He's a really nice guy. Don't get me wrong. He can outrun any of us.
Yeah.
Not just me, because I'm on crutches, but he can outrun any of us.
That's funny. Now, when you were at the high school, who were your deputies at the time? Do you remember?
I had Steve Lloyd.
Good guy, right?
Yep, really good guy. I also had, in middle school, I had Scott Dean. Scott Dean was one of my advisors, and I was in the safety patrol.
Oh, okay,
at East Naples Middle School.
Okay, that's good. Safety patrol.
And so getting my butt kicked.
Uncensored.
I'm late for school. No, come here.
No, it's good. So I know you mentioned briefly we had a podcast, our last podcast. It was actually 2 podcasts ago, on school shootings and are kids safe today in school? Give us a little rundown of what it was like when you went to school, because you have a tremendous law enforcement background with your education, different perspectives on different things. Give us a little rundown of how it was back when you were at school, and did you worry about those things?
I have an interesting perspective because I ended my career in 96 in Laley High School. And we never thought anything about that. We never thought that anybody would ever bring something to school. It could have been a possibility, but it was on nobody's radar, right? So then, this is something people don't know. I don't even think you know this. That I think it was late 2001, I helped stand up the Laley High School Criminal Justice Program, and we did a mass shooting exercise, school shooting exercise, with the Collier County Sheriff's Office and our students, and it was an eye opener for me, because 2001 was a big time that we knew that this could happen now. You know, I never thought it could happen back when I was in school, but these kids have to worry about it.
Yeah, 1999, I believe, Columbine, correct?
Right.
April 20th.
Mm-hmm.
So you would be safe to say that when you were in high school, things were fairly safe, in check, and for the most part, you didn't have that threat necessarily of the school shooters? I
think the biggest thing that we had to worry about was fights. Maybe here and there, some gang tagging, some things here and there that, were just little minor things. Drugs, which is still a big thing, but not like fentanyl or anything like that. We would deal with other drugs,
Yeah, mostly like maybe marijuana, some cocaine, maybe. Yeah, things like that. I mean, and we know that all these big public schools and even the private schools, let's not kid anybody, that stuff's going to be available, right? That's going to be available.
Yeah, I mean,
but today, I mean, when you hear these threats and things that go on, I mean, it happens.
Just a little bit of fentanyl can
wipe out
end your life. And there was experimentation, and we all, a lot of kids experiment, right? But today it's a little different than when you went to school, when I went to school. Now, one time you can die, right?
Yeah. So and wipe out a lot of people. Yep. So that's real important to know, though. But do you think that the school resource officers, or back in Collier County, the YRD deputies, do you think they had an impact on the safety of the school, and do you think they still so today?
I think we I can't speak for other students. I think we had I don't want to say better relationship. I think that we knew that they were there for our safety. And I don't know if that's just my perspective being from the Explore program, but I think that went throughout the school, that we all knew that they were there for our safety. Whereas today there's such an anti-police rhetoric out there that maybe that's not so much the case anymore, that we're not willing to have that relationship. The students aren't willing to have that relationship. I don't know.
Well, I think it bridges that gap, right? So you have a law enforcement officer, and I will tell you that when I worked in the schools, it was one of my favorite jobs, right? That bridging the gap, because I would say that I dealt with probably 5 or 6% of the kids in a negative way and 95% in a positive way.
Right.
So it would always be an interaction like, hey, Brandon, what's going on? Or hey, Joe, hey, Bill, what's happening today? A lot of times, and I wasn't running around looking for people to snitch, but a lot of times people would bring me information and say, hey, deputy, you might want to go down and check on this. Or, hey, Johnny's not having a good day. You might want to go check on that. Hey, this happened, that happened. That type of relationship you can't duplicate in any other way.
I also think that, like you said in the last podcast, that it's building that trust, so that the kids know that you can come to them and you're not going to divulge something that you don't have to divulge. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, there are things we're going to have to divulge at certain times, but we're not going to just do it, to put their lives at risk or whatever.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, that's important. And, just being in the schools, I think Collier County, we started our program in 1977. We were like one of the first one. Yeah, one of the first ones in the state of Florida and throughout the country. Mm-hmm. So we've been really doing this a long time. Believe it or not, when the school deputies started and they wanted to bring in under Aubrey Rogers and Sheriff Pryor, they wanted to bring into this program into the schools. The very first thing the school board said, we'd love to have you. We want you at the schools, but guess what you can't have? You can't carry a gun. Mm-hmm. And of course, law enforcement stuck up and said, hey, no, we're going to have our guns with us. Right. Yep. And now to think that we have to have guns in our schools and have to have a deputy while school is in session, things have changed, right? It's crazy.
And I know that you and Shannon talked about this. It's, what do you think about, teachers having guns in classrooms? And I think that you bringing a gun, and this is my own personal perspective, is you bringing a gun into the classroom, and you as law enforcement know, even if that house does not have a gun, you're called, you have that one gun to think about when you go on a call, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the gun that's there with you. So now the teacher's got to worry about all these students, and she's got to worry about, or he has to worry about that gun. Where is it at all times? So
yeah, it's a tough call.
I don't know,
Well, and I saw a video yesterday. I don't know if you had a chance to see it. There was a police officer in the Miami airport he got surrounded, and he got a guy in a headlock, and people were like all worried about that. But it was a situation where this guy was by himself.
Yeah, he's out.
And people are questioning today why he pulled his gun. He's like, listen, this is like
I'm outnumbered.
Yeah, it's like I got 17 people, and I don't know which one's good, which one's bad, but they're coming at me.
Yep.
If he didn't pull his gun or draw his weapon, chances are somebody might have grabbed his gun from him before.
Right.
And basically he was able to, you hate to do that, but he was able to calm that thing down a little bit, and it bought him some time to get some backup. So you're right. That's another weapon in the school that's being introduced on campus could be problematic for law enforcement. Right. And do you agree though the training is important?
Training is important, and as you brought out, and Shannon brought out, you don't know. Law enforcement gets there, they may not know who the suspects are, and we have a teacher with a gun, and they don't know that teacher, and they may assume that they are the subject.
Yeah, it could end up bad. So let me ask you this a little bit lighter. Do you get a chance to listen to the podcast or kind of like watch it a little bit?
I think we've established that, but I've seen Shannon, I've seen you with your little back and forth.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. And every now and then, we get a little bit crazy. Pop one off on one off on
shoot me.
These are Nerf guns, by the way. Like,
I think this one's rigged.
You gotta pull it back. There you go. He pops it off. So yeah, we have Nerf guns. If you say something real silly, this is what you get. That's what you get. There you go. And let me ask you that about silliness, right? So we know now that a big saying is "Let's go, Brandon." How has your life changed since that?
I love it. I love.
You got T-shirts. You got bumper stickers.
I get teased. I mean, the political rhetoric that has come from this, but I'm now famous. Thank you, Joe Biden.
Thank you, Joe Biden. Let's go, Brandon. But it's funny how that all came to light.
Let's not go, Brandon. F
Joe Biden. Yeah, F Joe Biden, right? So, but now you got your Brandon, right? So now everybody probably go, let's go, Brandon, or let F Joe Biden or whatever. Yeah. So it's kind of changed a little bit. Now you can actually, it's kind of cool because now you can go buy your own T-shirts. You can go buy your own bumper stickers.
Exactly. I don't even have to print my own T-shirts anymore.
That's right. And that's going to be around forever.
Exactly.
Forever.
I'm kind of sick of it, but it's cool.
It hasn't really cooled down. I mean, people, that's like one of the number one. That's like one of the number one T-shirts you can get.
Exactly.
Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, let's go, Brandon.
And I heard that the driver, Brandon, last name escapes me, but the driver, he's kind of getting tired of it because I guess he can't get. It was supposed to be the sports announcer on the NASCAR race heard everybody behind her saying F Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So she's like, look, she tried to spin it real quick and say, look, they're all chanting for you. Let's go, Brandon. And then now that's the thing, right? Because everybody's trying to spin that, we're in such a great situation right now, which we're not. Yeah. So the race car driver, Brandon, he's like, this really hasn't worked out for me too well because people aren't really wanting to use me as a sponsor, as a main sponsor. So yeah, so I know you get the chance to listen. What's your favorite part of the podcast?
My favorite part of the podcast is
the lives,
or just like when you have topics that I can identify with. Sometimes, I mean, like the school shooting one,
right?
Or the one with John Scaduto.
Yeah, you like the gang one?
I like the gang one.
Yeah. Sometimes we get a little bit silly.
Yeah, I love that part of it. You like the liberal side, you the conservative.
Oh, side. Yeah. Well, and Shannon's funny because, and I like to have her on. We do the lives too because she's like a different world, and I'm trying to figure out her world, and she's trying to figure out my world.
Nobody can figure out her world. My mother is the same way. We have arguments about the marijuana issue all the time.
Yeah. What's your thought on that?
What's my thought on that? I'm gonna plead the fifth on that.
You don't have to talk about it.
I'm going to. I think it's good in a way for medical for for certain
legitimate
certain medical conditions.
Right.
Do I think it should be legalized? No. I mean, but for legitimate medical purposes.
And I think you heard my podcast, obviously, right? So I think personally, I don't have a big problem with it. But what my beef is people are going to their doctor and saying, I've got a little anxiety. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
And give me a card. So if I get stopped, if I want to use, I'm legit now.
Exactly. It's not, I don't think you should just be like, handing them out like candy canes, whatever you want to right. Whatever you want to say. It's just
it's almost like giving a kid a license at 16, right? And saying now you can buy beer, you're automatically 21. It's the exact same thing to me.
I know,
because I'm having some difficulties.
I mean,
and I think there's legitimate reasons for it.
I mean,
or uses.
Honestly, I think people like myself who have cerebral palsy, it might help some people. Granted, because of my position, I can't do it. I would never do it to just jeopardize my career and whatever. But I think for people with spastic cerebral palsy, in some ways it might help. I think that further testing, further testing has to be done, and we've shown with the strain of spider's web that I think we can do some great things with epilepsy and things like that.
Yeah. So you're saying there's a medical, and I will tell you, after a couple beers, your CP does really good. The only problem is sometimes I got to shuffle around to move you from place to place, so it works out pretty good. But no, Brandon is, I will tell you for the record, Brandon is an extremely responsible person, and he's just kind-hearted and, always doing the right thing. But I agree with you. I think the medical thing, I think it's definitely legit. But when you try to find reasons to get a card for
I have
non-reasons, I think that's a problem.
I have anxiety. I have ADHD, so I need this to calm down. I don't think that's legit.
Yeah.
I think there are other ways to handle things like breathing techniques and things like that.
Yeah,
with counseling and
because my big thing is it makes you feel better, but really it masks you for a situation, right? So
I think that can be said about a lot of psychotropic drugs. It just masks the symptoms.
Sure.
Talking about things, you need to talk about things.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Christmas time, right? What you got anything planned for Christmas?
I've gotten a lot of questions about that. I went up to my mom's for Thanksgiving, so I don't think I'm going anywhere.
Okay, right.
And during Christmas time, it's like massive snow up in Maine.
Yeah, it's rough.
And so I go around Thanksgiving because you might have a light dusting, but I don't have to have spikes on the bottom of my canes to get through the snow. So.
Brandon's gonna get. So what do you put on these things? What do you put on these?
Don't hurt me, man.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Put them down. Put them down.
Do you get like you got to get for the snow and ice? You got to get special sticks.
Yeah, there's like they're like little spikes on the bottom.
So they really have them?
Yeah, there are little spikes on the bottom that.
It can be dangerous, though.
I know. That's what my mom says. No spikes.
No spikes for you.
No spikes for Brandon.
No spikes. So Thanksgiving was good. I was in Nashville. I'm going to be going to New York. So I'm a little bit nervous about that because I know right now they're shutting everything down.
Yeah.
COVID. How's COVID impacted you in school and things like that? You've been pretty good. Did you get all your stuff?
I actually, I had to do enter the humanities online.
Okay.
And that was not because of my learning disability. I have to have certain accommodations, and that does not work
as well
online.
Right.
So that was rough.
Yeah. Well, you found ways to get around it and get through it.
Yeah.
Not around it. I don't think it's a good word. Get through it, right?
Yep.
It's a better one. So Christmas for me is going to be good. I get to go up and see my daughter up in New York. Thanksgiving, I was with my other daughter in Nashville. So, it's going to be good. I'm a little bit concerned of going into New York under these conditions because I'm afraid I'm gonna get stuck. I'm gonna be stuck in an apartment somewhere. I won't be able to move. And if I want to try to get a car to get home, because I don't know if the airline's gonna be.
That's another issue with going up to Maine during Christmas time with my mom. I don't know if I can handle it with my family. If I got snowed in,
you'd be screwed. Yeah. You'd be stuck. You can't go nowhere. Can't go nowhere. Now, a little bit about Christmas, right? So you get around, right? You get to work every day. Is it difficult with your CP to get out and do some of the things that you want to do, or are you pretty much over that and you can kind of get around wherever you need to?
I have to take public transportation
to
and from work and wherever I go. I also am in supported living, so I have what they call a supported living coach. So she comes on Mondays and Fridays and takes me grocery shopping and we do different things. Like she brought me today to do a podcast. Nice. So I can't get around. It's just a little tougher because my life has to be scheduled.
Right.
In a multitude of ways.
Yeah, right.
So
so we got to schedule something for when I get back in January.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely a pickup, go somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Cosmos.
Yes.
Yeah. We had a good time there last time, so we get just good. But time goes by fast though.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
So we get going. So a little bit about our friendship, and we're going to talk a little bit about. Let's go talk a little bit about something that is very cool because you asked. We talked about what we're going to discuss today. You're pretty proud of your grandfather, grandmother. Give us a little rundown on them, and I know they lived for a lengthy amount of time in their life, so you got a lot of time left.
My grandfather lived, I want to say till 93. My grandmother lived till she was 99. So yeah, I got a long while to go.
You're gonna be around a while.
Yeah.
Now, a little rundown on your grandfather.
My grandfather was a lieutenant colonel in the Army. He was in the engineer corps, and he fought in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. By Vietnam, he was an advisor to indigenous forces.
Okay.
In Vietnam.
Okay. Wow.
So, yep.
Yeah. And your grandmother.
My grandmother was a cryptonologist in World War II. She worked at the Washington Annex in Washington, D.C., and that's where my grandfather and my grandmother met during the war.
Now, when you told me that when your grandfather retired as a lieutenant colonel, he came back to Collier County and he couldn't stop working. What did he do?
He moved to Collier County in 68.
Oh wow!
And,
year after I was born.
Yeah, and the interesting thing was the Gulf American Corporation flew them in here.
Wow!
To look at Golden Gate, which was supposed to be the community of the future.
It's close.
It was.
It's close.
It was supposed to be the community of the future, but as we can tell, it didn't quite pan out the way they thought it would.
No, it's beautiful out there.
It's gorgeous. Yeah,
it is. Green Boulevard used to be the landing strip. They used to bring people in there in Golden Gate City. I lived there one time.
And so yeah. And my grandfather, once he moved here, he got bored. And my grandmother was like, "Yeah, gotta get out of the house. You gotta do something." So he was a truant officer with Collier County Public School System.
No kidding.
For a number of years.
Chasing kids around.
Yeah, and he knew Bob Burhans.
Okay.
Colonel Bob Burhans.
Yeah.
And he also knew Aubrey Rogers real well.
Yeah.
But yeah, my grandma was like, "You gotta get out of the house. You gotta do something with yourself.
Get out, move."
So, but one of the funniest, and I don't know if you know her, Miss Penny Hooper over at
Yes, I remember Penny Hooper. Yes.
Okay, so I'm sitting in class one day, and they call me over the intercom. I'm like, "What the heck did I do wrong? What the heck did I do wrong?" So they call me, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go down to to the principal's office, figure this all out. Don't worry. And everybody's like, ooh, Brandon got in trouble.
Ooh, Brandon.
Yeah. So I go walking down there, and he turned, and her chair's turned, and she's standing up, and she's like, Brandon, I just wanted to call you in here. And my grandfather turned around. My grandfather's chair turned around. I was like, oh, crap. You scared the crap out of me.
Nobody likes to get called the principal's office. Nobody does.
I was like, oh, great. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. I really appreciate
so,
this
yeah,
one.
He had the hookup when it came to the school administration. And I was like, that was either a good thing or a bad thing, especially for my mom and my uncles being the truant officer back in those days.
You didn't skip no school, did you, Brandon?
I did not skip any school. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's something to keep you on track. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. So, and to wrap it up, I just wanted to thank you, for coming down and going on the podcast. Yeah. As we discussed earlier, you're a great friend. I get a lot from talking with you. You're just a smart. I call you a kid, but you're like getting really old now.
People think I'm smart. I don't know.
Super smart. And I'm real proud of how you do things, how you get around things, and your phone. Is that your phone?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
You can crank it off, or if you need to answer it, Brandon's got it. There we go. Oh, he rolled away. I'm glad we got it. He's rolling back up. Brandon rolled away. He did that last time. He rolled away.
I tried not to this time, but it never.
Ladies and gentlemen, he pushed away like fast. I mean, did you see how fast you went? Oh, if you roll away, that's what you get.
I just got shot in the head.
Another one. Oh. Brandon rolled away. But no, in all seriousness, I really appreciate your friendship, and I'm glad you got to come down and do the podcast. You're always welcome. And you bring a lot of good energy to the building, when you come.
And whenever you have like a remote or anything, I'm willing to be there, man. I'm hoping that when you guys do the soldiers on fishing thing,
I'll take a soldier fishing.
Oh yeah. Next time I want to come with you if you guys do a remote or anything.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, we'll definitely get you in on that because Steve Lloyd runs that show.
Yep.
So yeah, it's real good. So again, you mean the world to me. And as soon as we get back, we'll get back up and go out and do something fun. And you never know where you'll find Brandon and I.
I know we'll be everywhere.
Brandon's been in the RV. We've kind of done a lot of fun stuff together.
You mean the meth lab? No.
The meth lab. Yeah.
No, don't worry about it.
The rolling meth lab. We got it all under control. Any parting words for today? I mean, we've got each other with the guns a couple times, Nerf guns. Any words of wisdom?
Stay out of trouble, Tim. Don't drink and everybody out there, don't drink and drive. Yeah,
I'm not going to do that. No, I'm actually going to be in New York.
I wasn't talking about Tim at all.
All right, yeah, good.
To clarify.
Clarify that. Be safe, right?
Let's be safe.
The safe holidays. Yeah. Yep. No.
Me and you have seen too much.
Yeah,
it's
a
carnage.
Lot. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. Well, Brandon, I'd like to thank you again for being on the 239 podcast. And 239 Uncensored, everything Southwest Florida and beyond. And we are out. Here we go, Brandon. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody out there.